Hello there, good afternoon. My name's Louise. Welcome back to my channel. I'm a plant hobbyist from Manchester in the UK, and today we're going to talk about my Philodendron Verrucosum. So if you're new to my channel and you're not sure what I'm about, I do like to grow all kinds of plants, ornamental house plants. I like to experiment growing plants from seed. I also like to try and grow rooted cuttings, and during the summer when the weather's nice, I like to be in my garden growing vegetables, and both native to this country and tropical. So I like to experiment a lot with plants, and this today we're talking about my Philodendron Verrucosum, which is an experiment because I've never grown these before. I've never had one, and I got this a couple of months ago and I have done an update on it. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button and scroll through my videos, and you can see the first one. When I got this, I got it along with the Philodendron micans, and then I did a follow-up video, a sort of progress report on this particular plant. So if you're not sure what this plant is, it's grown in the, well, it's native to the South American rainforests, places like Ecuador, Brazil. There are many types of these, and they grow in very humid tropical climates. I'm not sure if they're understory plants, but they don't require, they don't like the cold basically. You know, you need to keep them in the warmth, have reasonable amount of light. So I'm very new to growing these. I'm not new to growing plants though. I've been growing house plants for over 40 years, but this is my first time owning one of these. A little bit of backstory if you don't know. So I follow a lot of people on YouTube, plant tubers as they call themselves, and these aroids are very popular, although they're not readily available in, say, your normal plant shop, and you can order these online. They're very expensive because, as I say, they're not sort of like in the market as such. You couldn't just go to your normal florist and get one of these, or your local plant nursery. I got this through eBay. Well, actually I met the person through Facebook, and she had an eBay an account and was selling this plant. So they're quite expensive to buy as a fully rooted plant, so I opted for getting a cutting rather than spending a lot of money on a fully grown plant and then not having the means, or, you know, sort of, well, not the means, but sort of not the knowledge to keep it alive. I didn't want to invest that kind of money and then have the plant die on me. So I got this cutting, and I think it cost me about £18, which might seem a lot, but considering a whole plant was probably £60 to £70. And when we say a whole plant, we're talking maybe 2 or 3 leaves. So we're not talking a huge size plant, 2 or 3 leaves, which, you know, and it's rooted. Some people might think that's a good investment, but I wasn't so sure myself that, you know, would I be able to keep it alive, you know, have I got the right humidity, you know, enough lighting, etc. So I've had this a couple of months, and it came without roots. It's been freshly cut off the parent plant. The seller did show me that. She showed me a picture of the parent plant. She said, this is the part that I'm going to cut. So it's freshly cut, and it had some little small aerial roots. The aerial roots were kind of brown, and they were not going to be capable of taking up water. So when I got this initially, I just put it straight in water and allowed it to sort of, you know, take up its moisture that way. And at the same time, that the sphagnum moss that was supplied with the plant, I used that around excuse me, around the base of the plant. So it had the water at the bottom and it had sphagnum moss around it. And then I think it was about a month later, I did an update on it and showed my viewers that it had developed sort of nice white roots. So those aerial roots had extended and now become white, and those roots were capable, or should have been capable, of taking up water. So I was pleased with that, and I thought, well, I'll get some, I'll get a pot ready, put some perlite, I put some coir, and I put some orchid bark, a mixture together, and popped the plant in, watered it, and left it. And I came back a couple of days later, and to my horror, this leaf that you can see sort of slightly bent over, but that's how it was when I got it, had completely bent over, and the stem, which if I hold that, it's quite firm, was very soft and floppy. So I took it out of the pot, out of the compost that it was in, and looked at the roots, and the roots that had completely covered in brown mush, and when you touched the roots, it just slid off in my hand. It was like very slimy. It had developed root rot, and I'll just show you close up on camera. See the white wispy bits there? That's the inner part of the roots. So literally the cover of those roots came off, and that's what was left. So I was quite, you know, shocked. And then this part here was a little bit longer. It was about 1 centimetre longer there. The bottom had gone brown, so I had to cut that bit off. So I cut the brown part off, and that where it was green, I cut it up to where the point was green. And then I had a look at the bottom, and where the base of the stem is there, it was brown inside. So the rot was travelling up the stem, and I don't know how far up the stem it had got. So I was really worried then, you know, that I'm going to lose this plant, because once it gets inside the stem, you know, how do you stop that? So it got me to thinking, how am I going to prevent the rot travelling further up the stem? What can I use? And I thought, well, I'd gone on YouTube and seen people use hydrogen peroxide, and I hadn't got any hydrogen peroxide. So I thought, well, what's the nearest thing I can use? And thought of bleach. Literally, you know, the bleach that you use to clean your toilet, you know, your work surfaces, etc., your bathroom. It is quite strong bleach, so I thought, well, I'll dilute it. So I got a jug, poured in maybe a teaspoon of bleach, and probably, I didn't measure, probably about that much. Say the jug was this big, where my finger is at the top, that much water and a teaspoon of bleach in there, and literally dunked the whole thing, not the whole plant, just the bottom part, into the bleach mixture. Left it there for about a minute, took it out, and then rinsed it under the tap, because bleach can burn. I don't want to kill the plant, you know, kill the bacteria, but don't want to kill off the plant. So took it out and left it, took it out and then rinsed it under the tap. So it'd been a minute in the bleach, took it out, rinsed it under the tap, and then I left it to sort of dry. And what I was trying to do is I left it probably about half an hour. I wanted it to dry. I didn't want to just put it back into water, because I want to make sure that if there was any bleach that had travelled up the stem, that it killed off. And I didn't want to dilute that. So left it for half an hour, and then what I did is got a jar like this and filled it with a little bit of water, and then I've got this rooting hormone, which is an organic, it's a Vitax organic rooting powder. Just show you what it's like. And then sprinkle a little bit of that into that amount of water. So probably not even a quarter, maybe less than a quarter of a teaspoon of rooting hormone in there. And the reason I use that one, it's got seaweed nutrients in it as well, so it'll help feed the plants as well as help develop roots. So that was over a week ago, maybe 10 days, and I just want to show you that, if I can see on the camera. On this side, you see those little red bumps there, those are new roots forming, so that's promising. And the bottom of the stem is still white, so there's no sign of rot there. The brown on the other side is going to stay that way because it's been bleached, and that's as much as the bleach could do with it. So I'm pretty sure that the rot's been killed off, and we've got those three little red sort of little prongs there, our new roots developing. So I'm very pleased with that. And also you can see there's a little shoot there developing, and also there's another shoot at the bottom. If you can see there, just point to it with this paintbrush there. You can see that's little green shoot. So 2 new leaves. So this has been in the grow tent, the one that I got in December. So if you have a look at the videos back in December, I got a grow tent, and this has been in there in this solution since. And now that it's got these little roots developing, I'm a bit more hopeful that I can you know, keep this plant alive. Fingers crossed. So what I thought I would add to it, I was looking at some YouTube videos. I do subscribe to a lot of YouTube plant tubers and follow how they root their philodendrons and aroids. A lot of them use sphagnum moss. So in the beginning, when I got this plant, it came wrapped in a little bit of sphagnum moss, and I did use that, and eventually I got some, you know, new roots whilst it was in both a little bit of water at the bottom and sphagnum moss round the bottom, round sort of the stem area. So I thought, although it's developing the new roots there, I would add some sphagnum moss to just create a little bit more humidity. I don't think that will encourage rot. I'll keep a close eye on it. So what I'm going to do is pop it in there, in that solution, and it's just covering. I might just pour a little bit of that out. Might have a bit too much in there. So it's just covering the bottom. I don't want it to get too wet, so I'll actually pour out a little bit more. I've got another jar here. So yeah, I'm just sort of measuring the amount I should have in there. So a little bit of water at the bottom, and the roots, I will put some more sphagnum moss. So this is sphagnum moss, and I bought this. It comes in a block, very thin block. You can buy them at pet stores or places where they supply vivariums, you know, where people keep reptiles, and they use this for their little lizards and frogs, etc. Or you can get it over the internet, you know, from Amazon or somewhere like that. You get the block, and then you soak it in water, and then you get a huge amount of this moss. and then once you've got it, I just keep mine stored in a plastic bag. So I'm going to add this moss. As I say, I've watched a few YouTubers and they seem to use this medium to help their plants to root. Some like it, some don't, you know, but I've seen a lot of positive reviews of using sphagnum moss, so I'm going to have a go. I'm going to add some, I'm going to put some in here into this jar, and I'll just use this little brush to gently put it down. I don't want to damage that little new leaf shoot, and hopefully, not sure how much to put in. I don't want to pack it too tightly either. A little bit more. And then I'll pop it back in the grow tent, but I think what I will do is put a Ziploc bag. So I saw somebody else on YouTube doing this. They put the Ziploc bag over just to create a little bit more humidity. Now I don't want it to get mouldy. So what I'll do is I'll seal that. Pop it in the grow tent, see what happens. Maybe give it till after Christmas, so we're in the run up to Christmas now, only a few days left. Maybe just after Christmas I'll do an update and show you if there's been any improvement, so you can compare the difference between now and then. Hopefully I'll have done the right thing by putting it in this sphagnum moss. So right, so here we are. It's a week now since the last part of the video where I showed you I was putting the Philodendron Verrucosum into sphagnum moss. That was on the 18th of December, and it's Christmas Eve. And here it is in the grow tent. So what I'll do is I will take it out of the, I've got this plastic bag just for additional humidity, and do a little bit of a close-up so you can see what's happening. So I'll just pause the video here. Okay, so here we are, still upright, it's not completely flopped over, and we'll just look in there. It's a bit hard under the LED light to show you. You can see the growth point there, there's another leaf forming, and down here that's a root. So those little tiny red prongs it had, they're stretching out a little bit, and there's another growth point there at the bottom, little green one. So I'm not going to pull it out of the medium. Actually, I might just bring it out of the tent just to get a better view, so just bear with me. I'll take it out of the tent and get it near the window. Okay, so it's out of the grow tent. I think maybe you can see that growth point there, a new leaf, sort of in amongst the sphagnum moss. So that's a good sign, nice and green. And let's see if we can focus in on those roots. Yeah, see that little pink fuzzy thing there? That's roots growing. That's a good sign. So no rot, not brown. And as they get longer, you can see they turn sort of a whitish colour. That's one singular root. I'm hoping it'll have more. I'm tempted to pull it out and have a better look, so I might just do that now. Okay, so it's out of the jar now, and maybe be able to see it a bit better. You can see that growth point there. Definitely got bigger. And dare I say, there might be... Oh, that's a little aphid on there. Get rid of that. And there's the other growth point at the bottom. And those are the rotten roots that you can see that I had to remove. And these are, let's see if I can focus. There you go. Those are the new roots. So I thought there was just one. And as you can see, there are, I think, at least 3, 4 decent roots forming there. And a couple more tiny little ones there. So very pleased with that. You know, only 6 days since I put it in the sphagnum moss. Getting rid of the root rot with bleach. So the bleach method has clearly worked. I haven't killed it, so now I know what to do should that happen again. I'm not saying it'll work for all the plants, but if other plants develop root rot, bleach might be too strong for them, but this has definitely worked for this Philodendron Verrucosum. So thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hope to see everybody in the new year. So Merry Christmas, as it's Christmas Eve, to everybody who's celebrating. Have a lovely time. Thank you. Bye bye.